This is part 2 in the series where I'm going to be teaching my friend Josh how to become a consistently profitable trader in the stock market. Over the coming months, Josh will be learning my entire trading system. Essentially, everything that I've learned after trading for the past 7 years in various markets. Now, my goal is to not only help Josh learn how to trade, but to also help you. So if you've ever wanted to learn, now is the time. Tune in each week on Friday to follow along and become consistently profitable with Josh. All right, Josh, you ready to go?
Let's get it.
So today I'm going to be teaching you how to use and set up ThinkOrSwim, which is the platform that you'll be trading on moving forward in this series.
Sounds good.
Now, if you're outside of the US and you don't have access to ThinkOrSwim, I put a link in the description below to an alternative broker that will allow you to trade options, as well as a platform that you can sync with that broker for all the charting and technical analysis needs so you can follow along in this series. Just a heads up, the most effective way to learn with Josh is to go back and start on part 1, just so you don't miss anything. All right, let's hop on inside my computer. All right, so when you log on to ThinkOrSwim, this is the default layout that everyone is gonna be presented with. We're gonna just hop right in and we're gonna change a couple of things right off the bat. We're gonna clean it up a bit. I think, you know, simpler is always better, and we don't need to be looking at all of this stuff. It's kind of a headache. So we'll go over a bit of the functionality, or all the functionalities that we will be taking advantage of, that we will be needing for our trading for the purpose of this series, and then go about applying the settings and kind of customizing the dashboard as to how I like it myself. So if you have any questions, just let me know. First things first, we've got all these tabs on the top. Okay. So monitor, trade, analyze, scan, market watch, charts, tools, education, and help. These are really the only 3 tabs we'll be using right here: monitor, trade, and analyze.
All right.
Okay. And then on the side here, we've got the account info. If I unhide this real quick, we'll have our editor blur your account number, but we can see your option buying power, net liquidity and day trades, all of the information, just giving you your balances as to your account, but you've got no capital in there right now. Okay, we've got, you know, messages. You're gonna reach out to their support. Let's just start off by deleting these gadgets. So on the left here, this is where we'll have the ability to add our watch lists. So we don't need this live news. I'm gonna go ahead and delete that. Trader TV, delete that. One watch list, that's good. And then we'll delete this gadget. So we're gonna wanna set up 2 watch lists. We're gonna click on this plus down here, and then we're gonna go to watch lists. And now we've got 2 watch lists. All right, now we're gonna change both watch lists to red and red. And then we're gonna change under trade and active trader, change this. We'll toggle to red. Okay, I'll explain why.
Okay.
Watch lists, we're gonna go to personal, okay? And then you've got kind of these, you know, default watch lists. You can look at any watch list. So for NASDAQ 100, S&P 500, you can pull up the corresponding watch list. So let's say like you want to go look at stocks in the NASDAQ 100. There you go. And then you've got the drop down, and then you can see those stocks. So we're going to go ahead and create 2 personal watch lists. Now, I used to have 4, but this is how I have it structured now. So all I'm going to have, if we go to create watch list 2023 watch list. This is the watch list where you're going to be adding the stocks that we're eventually going to get to, you know, the point where we're having a list of 3, 4, 5 stocks that we're going to be looking at. So that's where we're going to put those stocks. And then you just click under the symbol, and then you can add a stock to your watch list, like Apple, right?
Okay.
That's simple. Then it's pretty easy, right? And then we'll create another watch list, right? Create watch list. This watch list is going to be open position. So anytime you actually have an active trade on, you'll add that ticker symbol right here. So say Apple. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
Okay.
So we've got the 2 watch lists, 2023 watch list, open positions. Now here on the active trader under, you know, trade, all we have to do is go up to this little icon, or this, I don't even know what to call this. We go up to here, and we're just going to want to look at one screen. You can have like as many screens as you want. So say you want to look at 20 charts at once, there you go. Okay, but we're just gonna need to have 1 chart pulled up, and then you have these kind of toggles on the right here: active trader, big buttons, chart 2, chart 3. All I use is gonna be, well, just the chart. Okay, so again, just 1 chart.
Keeping
and
it
then
simple.
None of these are going to be toggled on. All right, and so this is the default chart. Let's see, if we go into, we'll kind of cover what is in each tab here, but let's just go about setting up your chart. So we'll go to setup. Just let me know if you have any questions, by the way, but we're just trying to run through this like relatively fast. So this is going to be the main chart. This is the main chart that we're going to use to do all of our technical analysis on. Okay, now when it comes to my trading, we talked about this in episode 1. I am a swing trader. That is what we're going to be focusing on with you because of your lifestyle, right? You said you have about an hour a day to trade, roughly.
Yeah.
And so with the trading system I have in place, it requires no more than 1 hour of your time each day, which is great. So when it comes to my trading and when it comes to time frames in trading, do you know what time frames are?
Yeah. So it's like the candlesticks, right? Each candlestick is, if you're on them 1 minute, it's over the course of a day, right? And each candlestick is a minute.
Yeah. Okay. So each candle, these are candlesticks, right? Is going to represent a certain amount of time. So example, we are looking at the 1 minute right here. This is the 1 day, 1 minute. So if we zoom all the way out, what we can see here is 1 day. Okay. This is pre-market. This is aftermarket. Okay. And then the black is during market hours, during active market hours. Okay. We've got aftermarket, pre-market, active market hours. And this is where we're trading at right now. If we go to the 5 minute, each candle represents 5 minutes. If we go to the 4 hour, each candle represents 4 hours. Okay, so with day trading, the typical time frames that most traders are going to be doing their work on are going to be the 1 minute time frame, where each candle represents 1 minute of time, the 5 minute time frame, okay, where each candle represents 5 minutes of time, and the 15-minute time frame. That's typical for a day trading strategy, because when you're day trading, you're getting in a position on that current day, you're getting out on that current day. Swing trading, like we talked about in part 1, you're entering a trade today and then say you're holding it overnight and closing it tomorrow, or, you know, many days later.
Okay.
So all of my work from a technical perspective, which is how I go about trading, is going to be done on the 4 hour time frame. So I'm always going to be looking on the 4 hour time frame.
You never look at a different time frame. It's always 4 hours.
Always 4 hour.
Okay.
Any of my trade decisions, when it comes to actually, at the end of the day, you know, I don't want to get ahead here, but when it comes to actually putting on a trade, doing my analysis, figuring out what stocks to trade, what direction to bet on that stock going, everything is going to be done on the 4 hour time frame.
Okay.
Now that allows me to kind of slow everything down and then be able to put on positions where my average hold period is going to be between 3 to 5 days. So say I'm entering a trade today, I'm going to be holding that stock for the next 3 to 5 days. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put our chart on the 4 hour time frame. And it's not just the 4 hour, it's going to be the 4 hour 180 day. So I'm looking back. If I zoom all the way out here, this is like how you zoom out. This is how you zoom in. Okay. I'm looking back at the last 180 days. And then what I'm going to want to do, because if you could see, we're currently stuck we're stuck here on the edge. You can't see what's happening in front. It just makes it hard to really look at a chart and break it down or do any analysis. So what I want to do is go to the little gear icon right here. We're going to go to, I believe it's time axis. Okay. So time axis, expansion area, bars to the right. We're going to type in 180. Now we're going to click apply and okay. Now we can see
180 days behind you, 180 days in front.
180 bars.
Bars.
So yeah, it's not days. This doesn't matter. You know, you can make it 360. I just like 180. Like 360 is going to give you a little more room, right? Just a little more space here. But I like 180. It seems like a good amount of space to have to work with. Again, just so we're not like kind of crunched in the edge of the screen there. So 180, okay, apply, okay. And then we go back to the gear icon. We'll run through kind of how I have my chart set up. Overlap volume, we're going to want to uncheck. Okay, apply that and you can see what that looks like. We've got the volume there. We want to get rid of this entirely. Let's see. So overlap volume, you can uncheck that. Price axis, time axis, good. Favorite time frames, good. Appearance, again, this is all kind of preference based. This is just how I have it set up though. We're going to uncheck grid. Okay. And then I like filling the candles. So we're going to click on fill up and now you can see it's just just gonna fill in the green candles like that. Okay, so next we want to remove the volume. We're gonna go to equities and then uncheck show volume subgraph, apply that. Okay, so now we've got a pretty clean looking chart right here. Okay, we're on the 4-hour time frame, looking back over the last 180 days.
So why do you only look back 180 days?
So when it comes to my trading and trading in general, I think the more simplified it can be when it comes to your process, okay, how you're going about making your decisions, the more systematic it can be, right? The more repeatable it can be, the more scalable it can be. The goal here, again, is to get you to the point where you're consistently profitable. To find consistency is finding repeatability. And so less variables essentially in the equation are going to help you have this system that is essentially at the end of the day going to be more repeatable for yourself. So there's less variables involved. So by only looking back at the last 180 days, that means the high, you see this, the high and the low. Well, there's only going to be one high and low, and that is going to stay consistent. So you're not going to be jumping from, you know, a 4-hour and then looking at the last 365 days, because that high and the low are going to be different. Or, you know, looking on the 4-hour over the last 40 days, because that high and the low are going to be different. Without getting too far ahead, I do a lot of my trading around highs and lows, but it's just the more systematic this can be, the more repeatable the system is going to be as a whole, your trading system.
Okay.
Or what I'm teaching you, right? You just had a really good point.
Yeah, it is a rare opportunity for somebody to have a mentor in their own personal life. Fortunately, I have Mark to mentor me over the next couple months.
One of the things I offer as a mentor and a coach online is the access and the ability to see, essentially look over my shoulder, right? And see the positions that I am putting on. So anytime I'm entering a trade in the stock market, I am calling that position out. And my students over inside my mentorship group are actually able to get in on that same position and, well, make or lose money, whatever the outcome is, whatever happens with the trade. So it's something that not many people offer out there. And I've been doing this for now 2 years, not only coaching, mentoring, and helping people learn the lifelong skill of trading, but being fully transparent and giving people access to see and copy my exact trades if they so desire. So if you're interested in kind of fast tracking your progress in the market, if you don't want to take the 6 to 12 months to learn the lifelong skill of trading, you can go ahead and click the first link in the description below. Check out my website and see if it's something you'd be interested in. And if so, I highly encourage you to apply.
Makes sense.
So this is what my chart's going to look like. Now, if we go up to this little studies, you can add strategies, you can add different indicators. Now, I don't use any indicators to trade with. And this is like...
What's an indicator?
Great question. There are different indicators that are essentially going to give you an idea for when looking at a chart, say Apple on the 4-hour. If we add one of these indicators, like the CAM indicator, well, that is going to tell us something about price or price action or price movement. The indicator is going to help give you an indication of where the stock is going to go.
Okay.
What direction the stock is going to move. So one of the very basic beginner indicators that a lot of people use is going to be like the RSI. The RSI is going to give you an idea as to overbought and oversold. A lot of people go off the RSI without realizing that what is overbought can continue to become more overbought, and what is oversold can continue to become more oversold. So someone would treat the RSI as an indicator of, hey, we're in overbought territory, that means I should go short, or we're in oversold territory, that means I should go long. Whereas that's really not the case. I think I've seen, time and time again, traders get into the market, they start with 10, 20 indicators, and slowly they remove all the indicators from their chart over time. So I don't use any indicators to trade with. Again, no fluff, keep it simple. What I do use to trade with are called moving averages, okay? We're gonna go about applying those moving averages to our chart. Do you know what a moving average is?
I can't define it. I know what they look like. I've seen them before, but I can't define it.
So a moving average is essentially the average price movement of that stock over a given time period.
That makes sense.
For example, there are 3 moving averages that I use in my trading. Now, if we go back to the studies, we're gonna add 3 moving averages. We're gonna type in simple, okay? Simple moving average. We're gonna go ahead and add that one.
The SMA.
SMA, simple moving average. Now we're gonna add another SMA. So we've got 2 SMAs.
Okay.
And then we're gonna add an exponential moving average. That's an EMA. So I think it's exponential, moving average exponential. Okay. We're going to add one of those. Now for the 2 SMAs, we're going to go to this little gear icon, and then under length, we're going to type in 50. And the color for this I use is red. Okay, so the 50-day simple moving average. Okay, now you can see like TOS's little description of a moving average, but this is going to be essentially the average price movement over the last 50 days. Why are moving averages important? What are they used for in my trading? We'll get to that. Right now, we just want to make sure our TOS is set up so we can start trading. And then the second simple moving average is going to be the 180-day SMA. So you're going to go under length, 180, color, and under color, I use green. Okay, great. Now, moving average exponential, the EMA is going to be 15. This is going to be the 15-day EMA, and that is going to be blue. Okay, hit OK, hit apply, hit OK. Now, if you are not on ThinkOrSwim, if you are on TradingView, which was my recommendation, or if you're on another platform, well, you're gonna have access to add an exponential moving average and a simple moving average. You'll be able to select the lengths, okay, of that moving average and the colors. So you should be able to do all of this and follow along, okay? Just make sure you have these 3 moving averages, the 180-day SMA, which is that green line right there, the 50-day SMA, which is that red line right there, and the 15-day EMA, which is that blue line right there. And you can see right here, okay, red is a 50-day SMA, green 180-day SMA, and blue 15-day EMA. So this is it. This is what we're going to be looking at.
Way simpler than what we started with.
Way simpler,
way easier to look at.
Way easier to look at, way cleaner. If you want to just buy shares of stock, you can click on trade, and then you can buy shares this way. You can click on the amount of shares you'd like to buy. Say it's 100, and then you just hit buy market and you send that through, okay? Click on buy market and then you can click send, or you can use like the active trader. There's just a couple different views they give you, a couple options, for however you'd like to go about buying or selling your shares. But we're going to be trading options. We talked about why in episode 1. So are you following along?
I'm following along. This is pretty simple. It's just kind of me like looking and showing like where to click and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Right? But like actually how to like buy an option on this and that kind of stuff, I don't know how to do.
Okay, let me show you how you actually go to what is called the options chain. So if you're under trade and you go to all products, well, here is the options chain. Now, we're not going to get into reading the options chain or actually buying option contracts yet. Okay, we're going to get to that eventually. But just know that under trade, all products, this is where we're going to go eventually to buy our option contracts.
Okay.
Now, just to recap, I trade options. That's what I'm going to teach Josh how to do. Options essentially give you the ability to leverage your money 100 to 1 because one option contract is equivalent to buying 100 shares of a stock. So that is why with less capital to trade, options is the way to go. Just knowing that there's inherently more risk, right? With more reward comes more risk. So we'll learn how to manage that risk. Don't be overwhelmed. We will cover to the full extent needed how options work, how to go about buying them. But right now, let's just get our TOS set up.
One step at a time.
So we've got activity and positions. Okay, if you have a trade on, this is where you're going to see your active trade.
Okay.
Okay, there'll be like a little summary. It'll say the stock, the ticker, and your P&L. Account statement, this is where you're just going to have access to see any trades you currently have on, look back at previous trades, your profit and losses.
So it'll show your trade history on here?
Show your trade history. So if we go 1 day back from today, you can look, say, 365 days back from today and then just apply. So 365, we can see the last 365 trades you took.
Okay.
This is just going to be like your account balances, everything, your account summary, all of that. And then if we click this privacy, again, all that does is it allows you to see all of your account balances. And then we do have to blur your account. So eventually we'll get into the Analyze tab, how this works, the risk profile. Any questions so far? It's pretty straightforward. Yeah.
Pretty straightforward. So trade is where you look at the charts and then you place whatever you want to buy.
Yep.
And the monitor is where you just kind of look over your account, that kind of stuff.
Yep, exactly. I know I've been doing most of the talking here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this layout. Okay, this is going to be my exact TOS layout and now Josh's. So just click the link in the description below, download my TOS layout. And then if you go to setup you'll have it right here, the Daily Traders TOS Layout. So there are like a couple smaller intricacies as to how to set up TOS. You know, when it comes to the drawings, the trend lines, I have just, you know, very minor customizations. Like when we draw a line, well, instead of that being red, I like it to be like this and white and size 2. Okay. So like some smaller stuff like that. All right, let's cover just a couple tools we're gonna need in our trading. So under drawings, drawing tools, trend line. Now trend line, if you click anywhere on a chart, it's gonna let you draw out and essentially figure out what the percentage is gonna be between a certain point and a certain point. Okay. So like, for example, if we drag off of the low, so click and drag up to where we're currently trading, which is right here. See the green 66.28.
So is this the 180 day?
Yeah, this is the 180
83.
day.
Okay.
Yeah. And then if we drag up to 66.28, that is where we're currently trading. Okay. So that is, you know, 7% above that low at 61.47. You see that, right? We'll end up utilizing that tool a bit more later on.
So those are really the only two
That's really
drawings you use?
Yeah, the only two drawing tools I use, trend line and then the price level. And then again, just zooming in, zooming out, pretty straightforward. But yeah, click and drag to zoom in. So it's pretty straightforward to use. Again, we'll get into monitor, activity positions, all of this stuff later on when we're actually trading. But for charting, this is all we're gonna need, okay? 4 hour, looking back over the last 180 days, we've got our couple drawing tools we're going to be using. We've got our simple moving averages and our exponential moving average. So make sure you go ahead and apply the 2 simples and the exponential on your chart if you're on a different platform, or you just copy my layout, clicking the link in the description and applying it. Any questions?
No, that's pretty straightforward.
Again, you know, simpler is always better in my opinion. I don't have 80 million graphs, charts, different indicators pulled up, because it's just not necessary. Okay.
Keeping it simple.
Keeping it simple. Questions?
So you add the stocks to the 2023 watch list as you're going along and finding ones that look like they have potential?
Yeah. So if I find a stock that I want to look at and keep an eye on or do some further technical analysis on, you just click symbol and then again, type in the ticker, whatever you want. So like Microsoft. And then, you know, I'll kind of add and remove. Just click on it and delete it to remove it as I go.
Where do you go to see the rest of the stocks? Like if you just want to like scroll through.
Okay, good question. So if you go under, you know, click on the current watch list we're on, public E, N, R, all of these. So
okay, so then
you can see here we've got the different watch lists. These are like the default watch lists. So let's see, public NR. You've got the Russells, public SW. You've got S&P 100, 400, 500. So say we click on the S&P 500, you can even drag this down. And so click on a ticker and then you use just the down arrow and you can start scrolling through. Yeah, and looking at all of these stocks.
Simple enough.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions?
Nope.
Makes sense.
That makes sense.
So that is it. That is our ThinkOrSwim layout and setup. We are ready to go about trading.
I'm excited.
You excited?
It's easier to follow now. Less stuff we're looking at. Let's start trading.
Let's start trading. I'm ready to get into it too. So if you guys are interested in following along with this series, learning how to trade with Josh, make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you are interested in my mentorship group, the first link in the description below will take you over to the website. You can see everything that is included and apply if you are interested. Josh and I will see you next week. Peace.